the Football Pod on Off the Ball.
In partnership with AIB.
Proud sponsors of the GAA Senior Football Championship.
Check out #TheToughest for more.
Europeans, stateside leader. Hi folks, how are you? Thanks for coming back after the break. I hope you had a nice drink there and a bit of a chat. I've got Eamon McGee with me, James O'Donoghue, Owen Mulligan and Paddy Andrews. We're here in the Mount Darrigal Hotel in Letterkenny with thanks to AIB, proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship. It's been a great show so far. I do want to digress a little bit. I don't know if you heard this clip during the week. Let's have a listen to it.
Why do you call him the boss? You've asked me this about four times in the last 12 months. Isn't he? He was your manager at a football club. His contract was with the club, and your contract was with the club. Why do you call someone boss? I'm serious. Do you call anyone else boss besides your wife? He's not your boss now, is he? No, he's another human being. That's it. Yeah. Why are you calling him boss?
The boss. You've all had different managers and I suppose different relationships with them. Owen, your relationship with Mickey Harte?
I definitely didn't call him boss. But
before we get to what you're getting to, when you went to Derry, did it change things? Because you were a bit emotional in the aftermath of that. I think we might see it here.
Fucking bastard.
Oh. So, you have the mic now. Do you want to give it a...
Sing it. Look, I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. I couldn't believe it. I've been with Mickey since I was 15. It was just anti every team. And Derry, once we come across Derry, it was always, look, we have to beat these. I went to school in Derry, you see, so I was extra special for me. I went to St. Pius's in Derry, so
Your mum's family are from Derry?
My mother's from Derry, good Glen woman, but...
Why do you think he took the job?
Like a pound. Cash is king, lad.
Fair enough.
Look, whatever it is. Look, there's a
great shit.
There's a team there that's probably can challenge for Harte and Gilroy. He kind of knows that. I don't think he's going to get back to Tyrone anytime soon.
He wants to win Sam again.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, everybody can tweet, everybody can tax, whatever, but Tyrone got rid of Mickey, like. At the end of the day, he was somebody,
is it truly sore about that? Was for what I've heard is that he's sore about that and he wants to win All Ireland with Derry to say
fuck you to Tyrone.
Yes.
That is,
absolutely. If somebody gets ready, like you want to, like, and the team comes in, he was no disrespect to Louth, they're never going to challenge for the honours that the current Derry team at the minute. Even though they're put out by Donegal, they'll still put in a challenge.
Yeah, like, and I mentioned your relationship with him. Like, you went through so much with Mickey Harte. Like, your minor manager, there was under 21 success, there was 03, there's 05, there's 08, there's I know your retirement. Was it even a retirement? There was just a phone call that never happened. There's so many different emotions that happened over the span of 20 years.
No, it wasn't a retirement. I found out on a Monday morning in Irish News. It was 12 names, and I was one of them.
Nah.
Aye, I did, aye.
You didn't speak to Mickey Harte when you were finished?
He texted me to say, look...
Check out the Irish News.
He texted me to say, look, we're going to start training here in fucking 1st of December.
You were happy enough to get the bullet, like.
Jesus, man.
lovely Christmas ahead. Like.
I'm only settling down for the cranberry sauce in December, like, and the pints of stout. He was. I think Kerry put us out in Killarney.
In 12.
12, yeah. Yes.
They put us out. So he's fuming at that, and he wanted to start training early, and he's texting, right, are you ready to come back? And I says, no, I'm not ready to come back yet. And that was it.
It's good to see where he's coming from there. You probably felt yourself like you had a year or two left in you, but you were going towards the end of your career in a Tyrone jersey.
Look, I was 32, 33. I wouldn't say I'd be starting, but I've always said to myself I would have probably played on, coming off impact sub. I think we got the league final that year. What are we right there? Semi-final against Dublin.
Yeah, 13. Got to the final. Probably should have beaten us. Should have beaten us.
And the forwards that come on that day were tripping over themselves. And, there was a foul to be made, and you've seen the clip of me diving earlier on. I probably would have got a foul. Probably would have got a free kick. So, look, at the end of the day, you always feel as if you can do better than probably you always have that, as Big McGee said, you've always that mentality as a forward, like you're the fucking best, like and you can do different things. So
as the years go on, though, like you can tell that Keane has a problem with Ferguson, and that is very deeply rooted. Does it change? Are you able to look back now and think, look, the times we had together, the good days?
To be honest with you, look, I tried my best to fucking hate Mickey Harte. I tried, and I probably did. The first couple of years I was dropped, but you can't hate somebody that you have so much respect for, and you have so much respect for the family, and you have so much respect for what they did for you as your career. But he shouldn't have fucking went to Derry, like.
Look at me. I want to come back to Paddy and James, because there's interesting dynamics and relationships there with the various managers he had. McGee, you had 4 Donegal managers. Am I right in saying you were dropped by all 4?
Dropped.
He's our special guest, Tommy. Go easy, will you? Jesus Christ.
They were 4 forwards.
Yeah.
So we started off with McAniff, then we got McIver, then we got John Joe Doherty, and we had Jim.
Yeah.
But they all brought you back. That's a good sign.
Resilience.
They all needed a cornerback. No, listen, and I think there was an element of this lad's trying. Like I wasn't a bad influence in the dressing room or anything. And when I was training. I would train well.
You just did your own thing.
When the time came to it, I just didn't have the mentality, and it was a long lesson. Flipping 10 years to learn that lesson, and chatting about managers. I still have McAniff's number. You'd ring him at 2:00 in the morning and say, "Yes, Brian," and I still know his number off by heart.
Do you actually?
Still know his number off by heart to this day. It's just ingrained because you'd have no credit at the time, or the phone would be dead. You say, give me your phone there, James. And then you just bang in McAniff's number, and he would chat away to you. Where are you, Eamon? And I says, I'm at a party here, Brian. Hey, what's the crack? So, this? I have a great relationship with all the managers, and I think...
There isn't like a boss or a gaffer or anything like that, and they're not really that GA anyway. Like.
During Jim's term, there was he definitely with me anyway. I found that he kept that distance, and I remember chatting him over at the book launch in Glenties. We went across the road to. It was in the Highland Hotel, and we went across the road to Leo was in. It's the first conversation. Nearly back before when he was playing with me. The first time there wasn't that manager-player conversation that you were just chatting.
Yeah. But like you would have had it with Mickey. Like Mickey was the boss when you came in, when you were a young lad. Like when McGuinness was sitting down to meet yourself and Rory Kavanagh, reading Kavanagh's book back, he was like, "This is Jimmy Tunes sitting in front of me here.
This is the DJ. This is the DJ at the party, and he's sitting here chatting about All Ireland's." And we had to learn that, and he made that separation very, very quickly, and he obviously had learned it because as a coach and as a manager you have to learn how the dressing room dynamic, and he did it with Niamh Connell, and he obviously was successful there, and he knew what he wanted. He had a clear vision in his head what he wanted and how he had to go about his business, and he made that separation very, very quickly.
When I was asked, Paul Devlin and Dermy come to ask me to go in with under-20s, like I had that sort of, fuck me, these boys are knowing I would have partied, and had the crack. And we actually we played Sligo in a friendly, and went up to Bundoran then, into the beach, and we were staying in McAniff's hotel. And talking about enough and stuff, whatever. And we let the boys down to what's the nightclub in
Paris, I think it is.
Uh,
I think it is. I think
it's no, the other one. So we says, look, put the curfew in 12 o'clock. We'll come down and get you. So me and Dermy and Paul stayed up in the hotel. So we went down and we got the lads, and they had to get nothing short, but they had to go into the Indian, like.
Yeah.
So they started to sing and fucking wreck the place and have the crack, and the guards were called. And I just says to myself, Jesus, this is all going to get back to the county board. Moxie's helping to train the team. There's going to be a fucking uproar, and I was shiting myself. So that was all right. The Garda come into this. I think the hand sanitizer was broken. The wee Indian went mad. It wasn't mad, but the Garda fucking vans and everything come. It was like just on this wee Indian shop. So it says Guard met me at the front door. He says, "How you doing?" And I says, "How you going, mister?" He says, "Are you manager of the team?" And I says, "No, I'm not manager." He says, "Fucking, you're very familiar with him." And I was like, right. He says, "Are you Mulligan?" And I says, "I am." "And you're over the team?" I says, "Well, I'm helping out." He says, "We're going to need backup here." Says, "No, it's not like that. It's not like all them years ago. It's not like that. So, long story short, we got all up to the hotel and everything was all right, but it just shows you, like, your reputation always stays with you.
Paddy, are you still terrified of Pat Gilroy? Scary man.
Ooh. All the coaches, yeah.
And he had your career in his hands at one stage, didn't he?
A couple of times, yeah. Very similar to Eamon. Like, I was a young fella. Pat dropped me twice, and the penny wasn't dropping. I think a lot of players probably go through this. I was 19, 20 years of age.
Hold on, James O'Donoghue's an angel. He's got no dropping stories.
No, fair enough.
Commitment, Paddy.
I don't trust that. But no, like, I missed 11. So I was maybe debut 2008 under Pillar. Muggsy was still playing. Tyrone whopped us by about 15 points in the quarter final.
Did you ever mark him? Cornerback?
No, I didn't get on that day, thank God. Played 2009, obviously. Kerry hammered us, was Mark and Gooch. 10, we kind of beat you guys, and that was a big, no more so you were chatting about Eamon earlier on. There comes a point for a team where you need to take that step and kind of beat your conquerors. You need to go and actually just beat one of the big teams. Tyrone, you guys are probably coming down the other side. It was a rise for us. We had the Blues and the Cork. And then 2011, I was living in DCU. Like, I live about fucking 10 minutes from DCU. Like, there was no need for me to be living on campus. But I was like on scholarship and having a whale of a time. It was magic.
You were the Wolf back then.
No,
the Wolverine. That was called.
I was back then.
Murphy and the boys would tell me about this character called the Wolverine. Says
I have a 6-month-old son now, so the wolf died about 6.5 months ago. Yeah.
You would see the wolf around 11 o'clock this evening as well, don't worry. So he'd be out and about.
But no, it was no more so what you were chatting about. It was I had success. I was a good player at underage. We played the international rules, the underage team with Murph and a couple of lads, and got ahead of myself. Thought I was going to be able to just progress into the senior team, and the penny wasn't dropping. And Pat himself had to change the whole thing in Dublin. Never mind this fucking young fella. And the penny just wasn't dropping, and ended up played down in a National League game in 2011. We bet them in Crow Park on a Saturday night, and we're down doing a charity thing in the big tree. Everyone knows the big tree down at Crow Park. Mm-hmm. It was the same. Every story starts with you can have 1 point, and we had 1 point, and then about 3 days later I got home, and I remember we were going training on the Tuesday night. We were playing Galway the following Sunday in Salt Hill, and Alan Brogan rang me at about 3 o'clock on the Tuesday. I was in the absolute horrors. I went to go out to DCU to train, and he's like, "Wolf, you out the last couple of days?" Oh, Jesus, Alan might have been. Yeah. Why? What did you hear? And he goes, "Well, Pat just rang me." I go, "Pat who?" He goes, your coach, Pat Gilroy. And I was like, are you winding me up? And he goes, yeah, I heard you were out, you're under a bit of pressure. So we went training that night. I didn't score 7 points from playing training that night. And Pat rang me the next day and he goes, what's the story with you last night? Pat had this great way of like teeing you up. You knew, he knew, and you weren't going to get out of it. He goes, geez, I was training last night. I go, yeah, it was not bad, Pat. Good session. Looking forward. He's going to be good at the weekend, won't they? He goes, yeah, no, they will be. Yeah. Were you struggling there last night? You thought it was going all right, Pat? No. And he goes, I had about 4 phone calls from 4 different people, including fucking guards. Where were you for the last 3 days? And I was just like, what do you say to that? Like, deathly silence. And again, Pat, this thing, he wouldn't say anything. So you try and fill the silence then, and you are scrambling big time. And I don't know what nonsense I came out when he goes, all right, that's no problem. See you on Thursday night. Played the game against Galway. I didn't play. Unused sub. Following week, we played the league final against Cork. This was 11. Dublin were winning. Lost to Cork. 5 or 6 points up. We ended up losing the game. And he blew a gasket. He was like, you lads are never going to do fucking anything. There's a problem. We'd have cleared the air meeting afterwards at DCU the next night. He's having to go off everyone round in a circle. Like, it came to me, and I'm sitting there like, it's a tough loss, Pat. It was, yeah. And he blew the hinges off me. And the next day, he rang me and goes, you're gone. I've had enough of you. You're not. Go back to your club. I'm not giving you any more chances. You're never going to learn. I was 22. This kind of underage star. 3 months later, Dublin won the All-Ireland for the first time in 16 years. And I was sitting on a couch like this. Didn't have Muggsy beside me. But sitting at home watching Stephen Cluxton kick that point. B. Kerry was one of the most famous moments in Dublin GAA. And I'd pissed it away. Like, to be honest, the reality was it was the only way I was going to learn the lessons of it. Eamon, you had it. Muggsy, you had it. I think lots of players have it. And you make the choice, as you said. And to be fair to Pat, he came and met me in the off season. I'd missed out on this, but he goes, right now, I still think you're good enough. You have a chance if you're willing to take this seriously. And my mindset from being a kid, loving life, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're a student, you're 20, 21 years of age, having the time of your life with all your mates from home and school, and going out, living in Dublin, having the crack. That is A1 if you want to do that, but you cannot do that and be an elite sports person and try and reach the pinnacle of our sport that we all love. It can't happen. And the penny dropped for me at that point. You had to take the big setback. I was very fortunate that Pat and Jim gave me the opportunity over the next 10 years to rectify that. But you did it right. 7 All-Ireland medals later.
I think it's, we're getting caught up in tactics. We're getting caught up in, probably the 5-10%, but in terms of a coach and a manager, it's about getting the best out of players.
Yeah.
And Gavin would have done that. Eamon Fitzmaurice, these boys, and we get caught up too much in the science, and basically we can nearly look down their nose at the older managers, at the likes of maybe a Brian McAnuff or someone, and it's about forming that relationship with the players and understanding the player. If McGuinness or these boys thought I was a prick about a dressing room, they would say they wouldn't make an effort now, but they knew there was something there. And
connection.
Just
that's I know you've lost your marbles a few times, but I'll back you. And I know you actually really care underneath it all. And Mickey Harte had it, and we had it with Pat. Changed everything in Dublin. Jim obviously had it for years. Desi has it with those young guys now. Similar relationship to Mickey, what I had with the underage players coming through. Very hard to have success if there isn't that connection with players.
I think we had so many. I think we had so many.
Yeah.
In the fucking Tyrone team, it was fucking mad. Yeah. To be honest with you.
But you have to be a bit mad,
but see when we crossed the white line in the field, that was it. See when we did them extra runs with dogged each other. It was actually the players. It wasn't the managers telling us, we'll do one more. It was the Hub Qs, the Philly Jordans, myself, Canavan, Lawn, we'll do one more. And see when the players drive it, that's when you know you're in a special place.
Who kept you in the straight and narrow?
What's that?
Who kept you in the straight and narrow? Don, he looked after you when you came in, did he?
He did, but do you know what happened? Do you know what happened to me was we had that McGuinness moment where Eamon Fitzmaurice came into a young team and just was able to kind of grasp everyone's kind of imagination at the time. It was like it was like the perfect manager, 36, 37 years old, which is so fucking young, coming into a young team where everyone just looked up to him. I remember the first meeting we had was he had Cian O'Neill with him, who's now the Galway strength and conditioning coach, and they put on this presentation and they just had, this is going to be your strength, power, endurance sessions for the year, and they had everything done, and it was like, we're going to have this match all the way up to the All-Ireland final in 13, and it was like, whoa, it was like, you have us. It was, we would do anything for that person then. It was just the way that the time that he came in. And I suppose different for me, for the lads, is I came in at that time and I was a young person in the panel, and we had a great team of kind of older fellas who also bought into Eamon at the time, and there was never the question of fucking around or anything. I just think that he kind of got fellas in at that level, and it was just you're either on or you're gone. And there was he did throw some fellas off the panel for messing around, and he knew he had the respect of everyone straight away. Yeah. But I think that first meeting, I always say about a new manager, you get one chance to make that first impression. Just that first meeting, you can grab fellas or you can lose them. I think that with Fitzmaurice that time, he just grabbed every young. For sure,
yeah. We'll get back into that again. I'm bad at this. We better talk about the football. I get some stories on. Right? There's a big game tomorrow, and actually, somebody in the room tonight is going to win a pair of All-Ireland football final tickets thanks to AIB. We have given everybody a raffle ticket, and they're in a little bowl, and we're going to give the bowl to Owen Mulligan at some stage in the next 10 minutes. So
it's definitely number 12.
Owen will be picking out the number. I'm just going to run you through the two teams for tomorrow. And Eamon, I might start with you on what we can expect here. So the Donegal team that's been named, we've Sean Patton in goals, named to start. I don't know where Patton is or whether he'll be ready to go, but we've got Mark Curran, Brendan McCole, Kieran Moore, Ryan McHugh, Keelan McGonigal, Peter Mogan, McGee and Langan, Shane O'Donnell, Kieran Thompson, Dara Boyle, Patrick McBurty, Oisín Gallen, and Niall O'Donnell named to start. And then the Tyrone team, they've called up some of the 20s that were brilliant during the extended panel that won that All-Ireland title a couple of weeks ago. They've made a change. They brought in Rory Canavan for Cathal McShane. We might come back to that. Morgan's in goals, Niall Devlin, Padraig Hampsey, Michael McKernan, Ben Cullen, Matthew Donnelly, Kieran McGeary in the half back line, Kennedy and Kilpatrick midfield, and then Kieran Daly, Michael O'Neill, Shawnee O'Donnell, McCurry, and the two Canavans in the full forward line. This game last month was 6 days after Tyrone went to extra time against Cavan, and a week after Donegal did what they did against Derry, and again it went to extra time. What are we going to see now, tomorrow in Ballybuffet? Ulster champions there to be knocked off their perch.
I think there'll be an element of that. I think there'll be an element of Tyrone having blew their chance. I was saying to Muggsy back in the room there. Tyrone are home and host in that game, and they were, I think it was 3 points up.
Yeah.
And they just blew it.
Why? What do you mean? They didn't?
You talk about the best teams. You want to go at that level, you don't give up, and that's why Armagh did it in the Ulster final. They're 4 points up. People say, do you feel sorry for Armagh? I don't at all feel sorry for them.
Really?
Because they're sitting in that situation, 4 points up, you're going down the last 15 minutes, whatever it is, and you don't win. How many chances do they need?
What do you think they need to do different? Teams like that?
You can chat about tactics, say like Tyrone want to sit in, you chat about, but again, you get caught up in the tactics of it. It's the mentality that they brought, that playing with fear. I think the Jardy Og Burns thing was a perfect example of, he looked across. He looked, what do I do? Hold my hand here, instead of just, at that stage, and I don't mean that, that's
was that the mark?
That was the mark, yeah.
They should have taken the shot.
Totally agree.
It's not a case if he takes the shot or not, but the fact that he looked across, I know for a fact you're not going to fucking look.
I totally agree with you. He looked across.
You were doing coverage that day.
He looked across.
And the management
went like that.
And that for me is the mentality. And I think have Tyrone learned enough in the space of that few weeks to go? Because I think if McGuinness goes, sits in that low block, that this is the buzzword now for the summer. Teams are sitting in low block, mid block, or the high block, and in Ulster Donegal, they've sat in the low block, and they've picked up 2 danger men. They've left Rian O'Neill relatively free. They've left Doherty free in the Derry game, Matty Donnelly and Morgan free. Yeah. So they're relying on that, and I think there's a lot to be learned in them 3 games. So if Tyrone can do, if Donegal, I'd be surprised if they do go the same way. But if they do, and Tyrone learn enough, I'd be afraid.
But Muggsy, that style of play, and I have a bee in my bonnet about this. That style of play has a ceiling. You cannot win, and I will go on record and have it a million times. You will not win the All-Ireland playing that way. You cannot win the biggest prizes by playing not to lose. And I agree. I did Armagh Monaghan in last year's All-Ireland quarter-final, and Armagh losing penalties, and they've lost on penalties again. They fucked that game away. They're a way better team than Monaghan, but they played, let's not lose this match. That will get you to a point. I understand you need to have defensive structure and all that good stuff, but if you were going to win the biggest prizes, you need to go and take the game. And Armagh are 4 points up in the Ulster final. They don't score in the last quarter of the match. You will not win the biggest games like that. Tyrone, to an extent, and maybe this is a bit of the beginners factor as well, they were a better team in that game at Celtic Park. They were. And Tyrone, we don't know what we're going to get from tomorrow. They've been so Jekyll and Hyde.
It's a young team though, Owen, isn't it?
And that's what happens when you get young players. And they have Matty Donnelly's back, and it's magic to see him. Morgan was exceptional that day. Donegal have a plan for him tomorrow. But if you're genuine All-Ireland contenders, I don't think either of these teams are. But you need to play. You need to be brave and play. No. Neither team tomorrow is going to win.
Paddy is 6 All-Irelands have won, so I think
there's only one contender for Paddy, and it's Dublin. I would say though, I think there is.
Do you think either of these teams tomorrow will win the All-Ireland? You winding me up?
I think that Donegal have a chance.
Oh, you would say that.
No,
we're in Donegal, like.
No, I genuinely do.
You have to go out there. You have to go out there in a few minutes now. So
I genuinely think Donegal have a chance in McGuinness, because I think he can
win the whole thing.
He can change tactics from game to game. I think he's a plan.
For fuck's sake.
I think he's a plan. I swear to God, I think he's a plan.
I know, I'm just saying, right. Hold on a wee second, right.
Muggsy,
Jim McGuinness, no.
Go.
Jim McGuinness is fucking great. He's brilliant. But there were fucking goalkeeping mistakes from Derry. It wasn't, don't tell me now that was targeted. Don't tell me now.
I think they targeted the
kick-off. Come on.
I think they targeted the kick-off.
At the end of the day,
they definitely went after the kick-off.
You can't target 3 kick-outs. You can't.
But why has nobody else got a goal after that all year?
It's stupidity from Derry. The centre half back has to stay and call the shots.
Derry's structure.
He moved up, and the goalkeeper's left contesting the ball in midfield. It's crazy.
But going back years, hang on, Paddy. Going back years, they beat you in 14 because of kick-outs.
That guy can't get back. It's crazy. Crazy stuff.
As much like I think the Derry game, like nobody called it. Nobody called it.
No.
Nobody called it. It was great. McGuinness was back, but it was Derry's downfall as well.
100%.
Tyrone, I totally agree with Big McGee there. Fucking what he called up the right hand side, did a chance to go 4 ahead, and Sean O'Donnell turns back. The ball was there inside. The ball was inside. Armagh, 4 points up. They protect that lead with 7 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go was crazy. They kept going back side to side. Give the ball to Mackin. He's done for overcarrying. That was the start. That's all Donegal need. That's all Donegal need. They're like an old ex-girlfriend that never goes away. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
what Donegal, and when you say that now, and
you know,
I see traits.
They're always there, taxing you.
Your woman's in the crowd here.
Poking you on Facebook, people.
You know.
And I think Donegal are seeing traits of, Niamh Conall have been the main team, and like that, you just never have them beat. They're always come back, and you're starting to see traits more so in this time under McGuinness than our time, because we got a hammering at 13, and I think there was a few hammerings, and there's a trait in that Donegal team where they're just not beat, and I think that's.
Well, I did say more so. Sorry, the McGuinness gets obviously innovation and all that stuff. The biggest thing I've seen from this, I don't think Donegal have played that well since that Derry game. I think Tyrone probably should have beaten Brendan McCall gets a score in last kick of the game to bring the extra time. They're probably down and out the atmosphere in Clonus, they're 4 points down. You guys were there. Niall O'Donnell kicks 2 monsters, scores people where it's on.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
But Donegal kick it. That intangible of there's resilience about Donegal now because they believe. And I know that it's hard to put a price on that. They were gone.
But you boys, how many Leinster medals did you win? Quickly.
Fuck, I don't know.
120.
You haven't a clue. You don't know, right?
Because
but the difference is, like, to win an Ulster title, I don't know whether you said the shackles used to come off, you'd get through Ulster, and when you could play Kerry and Croke Park, the shackles would come off and you might play a bit more football. I think there's an element of the Ulster teams, because that title is so coveted, they play a certain style or they play a certain way in Ulster because the games are so tight and close.
Tommy, I completely agree, and that's why I think that on paper, right, Tyrone are probably better than Donegal at the moment, right? But when Donegal, when Donegal go and play a team from maybe a Kerry or maybe a Dublin, I think that they're able to adapt that tiny bit better. I agree that in Ulster, it's one tournament. And it's so hard to win that fucking tournament. Like, it's impossible to win it. Once you win one, it's incredible. But then you need to completely change your game almost to come down. Like you even said in the 20s. Suddenly you have to start kicking the ball and be a bit more open. But the one thing that I think about this whole thing is there's 2 games at the moment going on in the championship. There's the first 3 quarters. That's its own game. And then the final quarter is something completely different.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's something completely different because in that final quarter, you need different personalities. You need fellas who are going to be brave, who are going to take shots, who want to take that risk of a pass maybe across. Yeah. Even if you look at the All-Ireland final last year, McCaffrey hit that pass across the square. Do you remember with the left leg pass to Pascal? Like, you need, in the last quarter, you need those big plays. So it's fine being, the first 3 quarters are almost preparation to then go and do the business in the final quarter. And like the top teams will do that.
On James's point, look at Niall O'Donnell in that last quarter, where he had the pop, and he just wanted to get on ball, and it was just Armagh were kind of retreating within themselves.
I loved the moment in that game because I can imagine what Ben Creedy might have said to him. He probably said to him, "Shoot," when he kicked that point.
You see afterwards, it was unreal. It was unreal.
Yeah, you see afterwards O'Donnell laughing like, "I did shoot."
You know, that's the mentality you're chatting about in terms of that. It's grand. You can do, have a pop in the first 5 minutes and from the sideline or outside the boot. Do it in the last 5 minutes. Do you have the balls to do it then? Like
the metal. Do Tyrone have the players right now? Because Brian Dooher has brought in a lot of young lads. I think 10 lads had their championship debut coming off the bench or starting against Cavan. They're starting to assert themselves. Great news, by the way. Today I know Fergal Logan did an interview on BBC about recovering from a stroke. So just a word on that. Best of luck to Fergal on his recovery with that. So that was an awful bit of news for Tyrone earlier this year. So we wish him the very best. I don't know whether we'll see him back in the sideline soon, but it was great to see him doing that interview on BBC. Do Tyrone have the footballers at the minute? Owen?
I think we're rebuilding. The minute. High-profile players retired, Sludden, McNamee, by the full-back. Them players you can't really replace.
Every week there's a player leaving Tyrone.
There's players already. Young Cush dropped out there again. We had him in under-20s. I thought there was nothing like him.
Full-back, isn't he?
No, he's in the forward line. I thought there was nothing like him. To be honest with you, I'd love to see him back. I don't know what reason why he's pulled out, but at the end of the day, I think Tyrone were spoilt for a while. People are saying the crowds are down, supporters are down. That's probably why we don't like getting beat. We've built that sort of aura up now with ourselves that we want to win every game, but you have to give the management time. There's people calling for Brian Dooher's head at the minute.
Really?
It's crazy. It's
okay.
crazy.
I didn't know that was the conversation. Is that
you hear
legit?
it come out of the supporters saying, what's going on there? What's going on? Fergal Logan's gone. What's going on there? You hear them sort of vibes. Give the man time. Look what's happened. Tyrone's won the All-Ireland 2 years ago under 20s. Now they've won it this year. Then you've almost CBS as well. When schools, there's serious work going on. We haven't talked about a conveyor belt in a long time, but it sort of is that at the minute. But them players just can't come on and start winning All-Irelands. So they have to get time. But if you're going to ask me, if they chance to beat Donegal tomorrow, I definitely think they have. Okay. We're talking about clicking. We're talking about clicking. I think the defensive structure's fine, but the forwards are kind of letting themselves down at the minute. because they're not putting the ball over the bar. They're not getting into the positions that they can. And probably, as Jamesy said, they're a wee bit afraid of, losing that ball, losing that possession, So at the minute, I don't think we're there.
The big thing I'd say about Tyrone were the champions 3 years ago, right? And they have an exceptional goalkeeper. Hampsey's, okay, maybe not as strong as he has been, but I think Michael McKernan has developed into a massive defender and on the front foot as well for Tyrone. We've got a great midfield in Kennedy Kilpatrick. Matty Donnelly is back, and he's kind of and the game tomorrow will suit him. It's nice to play in that type of game. He can sit in the pocket. Different story if he's in Crow Park and he's playing a team with 6 forwards up. He won't get away with that, but tomorrow will suit him. And they've got, for me, along with the Cliff, maybe Con and Mannion, the best forward in the game in Derek Hanlon. And McCurry can come. McCurry's probably one of the Luke players we've spoken about. But they have the nucleus of a really good team, and we see inconsistent performances from Tyrone. You literally do. They could go out tomorrow, they could win by 6 points, or they could lose by 10. And that's what you get with young players in a team. They have that core, and that gives them a massive chance. They have know-how with those players. Ryan Dewar is a legend, obviously, and they'll have a plan. As much as McGuinness will have one, they'll look and say, we managed that final quarter, or not even quarter, final 5 minutes in Celtic Park last month. We'd have beaten it, and they probably would have won the Ulster title. So Tyrone, the question mark tomorrow is what Tyrone shows up. What energy did Donegal have after winning an unbelievable Ulster championship? Can they go again?
Yeah, okay.
I know they're going to say they can. Proof's going to be in the pudding, but that's the fascinating thing about tomorrow.
Did we underestimate how low a base or how high a base the team was when McGuinness took over? Like, was the quality in Donegal? Are people surprised that you're Ulster champions
Donegal
again?
have good players.
I think Donegal have good players. I think Donegal will always produce players, and that's why I'd be still annoyed, the fact that the academy situation is because when you look at them, buggers over there, they've won another under 20 title. That's 2 in 3 or 4 years.
The standard setters up there, yeah.
Their standards are there. They have the school system, so we obviously need to do something to bring them type of players. Say they need to come into the right culture. They need to be conditioned, because that's the name of the game nowadays. And we need to have the academy, so we need to take them through to be ready to play, to compete. Obviously, there's a development stage there when you come into seniors, but they need to be coming in better prepared than what they are now.
Can I get your predictions? And Catherine, would you mind bringing up the raffle tickets for the All-Ireland final draw with thanks to AIB? Eamon, I'm going to start with you. How do you see tomorrow going?
I think there's a debate to be had in terms of do they push up on Donnelly. Donnelly and Morgan had a big influence in Celtic Park. And as I said, I don't think that low block will work.
Okay.
Again, so what does McGuinness do? And I think if he comes out, if he maybe shuts down Donnelly, has a plan for Morgan, I don't think he's going to go man to man, and maybe gets that press a wee bit higher. And obviously, shuts down Derek Canavan, then Donegal should be good enough.
Okay, Donegal.
And the Bell Buffet factor too. I think McGuinness will want to.
Is it a sellout tomorrow? Full house there?
20,000, is it?
Yeah, okay, that'll be great. We're actually covering that game for Off the Ball, so we'll enjoy that. James, can I get yours before I go to Paddy? So we've got one Donegal already.
It's so tight. I think if I was to bat for Tyrone, it would be the fact that they have been able to kind of lick their wounds from the loss and watch Donegal for a couple of games. And I don't think people realise how important that is. Like, if you can actually see a team, take a step back, watch a team and go, we can pick a hole there, we can pick a hole there, we can pick a hole there. Like, Donegal's focus hasn't been on Tyrone, it's been on winning better things. I think Tyrone have been waiting in the long grass. It's going to be 2 games, as I said. The first 3 quarters and the final quarter.
Who's going to win it?
I said on the pod, I think it's going to be a draw.
All right.
Fuck off,
Okay.
Jimmy. Jesus. A draw.
I think it's going to be a draw, but do you know what? A draw is actually not a bad result for either side in a group stage.
Andrews, quickly, before we give the last word to Owen.
Torn on this one.
Who'd you say?
I'm torn on this one.
Don't go for a draw now.
You'll be in Blix in about an hour's time now, Paddy.
I'm going out
so
in
be
Letterkenny
careful.
tonight. Donegal are going to win tomorrow.
All right, okay. There you go. And, Mulligan, I'll give you the last word on this.
Tyrone by 2.
1 by 2. Okay. Fair play to you.
Hang on, Tommy Rooney.
You stole my line. I was going to go for the draw. I thought you were going to go for Donegal and it'd be draw. I think Donegal are going to do it. I think I watched the homecoming speech that McGuinness gave at like 1 o'clock in the morning after they won the Ulster title. And we spoke about this in the pod where he was speaking to the crowd, but he was also speaking to the team. And when you're looking to get the energy back, and this is the schedule now and the seasons are so different, he was on about Donegal being here and then they can get to here. I don't think they're going to let that slip in such a big game against Tyrone. So I think Donegal are going to do it.
When I was going out, I used to watch fucking Braveheart all the time.
I wouldn't be
It did fuck all for me.
Okay. I think we will leave it at that. We're actually stay in your seats because off air we're going to do our All-Ireland final draw. Thank you very much for joining us tonight at the Football Pod live in Letterkenny. We are here with thanks to AIB who sponsor the show and keep us on the road and are proud sponsor of the Senior Football Championship. Thank you to the Mount Errigal Hotel for looking after us tonight. It's been brilliant. Eamon McGee, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers to it.
Owen Mulligan, thank you very much for joining us too. James and Paddy, well done. So thanks to everyone for coming out as well. Thank you.
The Football Pod on Off the Ball.
In partnership with AIB.
Proud sponsors of the GAA Senior Football Championship.
Check out #TheToughest for more.